Okay, after this forces topic, because forces is like a linked topic with other chapters also, like forces is linked with momentum, forces is linked with motion, forces is also linked with pressure, density, work, energy, power. All these topics are interlinked with the forces topic. So this is the general idea of the force itself, like how many examples are there, what type of example, what are the laws related to the forces included in our syllabus. So we discuss about this idea. And also, if we try to solve some questions from the forces also from the topical past papers. So let's see what type of questions we got in the past papers, especially related to the forces only. Because as we already discussed that there are multiple types of questions related to the forces available. So this is the file for the forces. So let's see what type of questions we are able to solve from it. Because mostly you will get questions related to the turning effect of the forces and related to the upthrust, work, power, energy concept, density, like that. Like you can see, this question is also from the same idea. This is also the same. So mostly you will get the same type of question. Okay, what is the latest question in this file? Okay, this one. Okay, before that, if we consider this question, a sphere is attached by a metal wire to the horizontal surface at the bottom of a river. The sphere is fully submerged and in equilibrium. Equilibrium means sum of all forces, sum of all moments is zero. It is not moving, it is not rotating anywhere. With the wire at an angle of 68 degree to the horizontal surface. The weight of the sphere is 32 newtons. The upthrust acting on the sphere is 280 newton. The density of the water is 1000 kg per meter cube. So density is given, upthrust is given, angle is also given, direction of the force is given. So multiple quantities are given in this question. Assume that the force on the sphere due to the water flow is in a horizontal direction. So there is a water flow also in this diagram, just like arrow given in the diagram. So it shows you that water is moving horizontal to uh, the sphere or in horizontal direction towards right hand side. So this is the idea of the force or the movement of the particle of the water. Again, consider the components of the forces, because the basic idea of the force is to consider the components in the question that will give you the answer, especially in vertical direction. So you need to consider vertical component and determine the tension in the wire. So in this question, we know that one force acting on the sphere is the force of the water, because water exerts force towards right hand side. So it is moving towards right hand side, and tension in the wire is also acting, and upthrust is also acting on the sphere. So the one force exerted on the up sphere is the upthrust force, and the weight. Okay, the weight of the body is not given in the question. Only this is the force exerted by the water on the sphere. Now you need to consider the vertical component only. to determine the tension in the wire. So to determine the tension, one component is the component of the upthrust acting, which is equals to, okay, weight is also given 32. This is the weight given 32. So 32 is the force acting in downward direction. Upthrust is acting in definitely upward direction. And also the force of the tension or the tension in the string is acting at 68 degrees sine theta, right? So if we consider horizontal and vertical components, so this 68 degree sine theta is in the category of vertical component because that vertical component is also in the vertical direction upward. So it will be equals to weight is acting in downward direction equals to the upthrust. And this wire is actually supporting the sphere from moving anywhere. So that's why this sphere is in equilibrium. So this is the vertical component making 68 degree. So let's suppose if the weight of the body is in downward direction. So from this side we can make components. So one component is horizontal and other component is this one also. So this component is T sine 68 degree. And this is also acting in downward direction with certain angle. So this tension force is also supporting the weight of the sphere. So it is in downward direction. So it means that we need to write this value over here. Or we can say that weight plus tension is equals to upthrust. So the value of the tension is T sine 68 degree plus 32 is equals to the value of upthrust is 280. And after calculation, your answer for the tension in the wire will be almost round off equals to 270 newtons, right? Because according to the components, one component will be in horizontal direction and other is in the vertical direction with making 68-degree angle. That gives you the tension in the wire with 68-degree angle. Okay, basically T sine 68 is very easy to understand. Basically, the weight of the body is acting in downward direction. But if you consider the string, so this string is connected with the sphere and the force of the water is acting on the sphere towards right hand side. So it tries to push the sphere towards right hand side, but because of the wire, of the string, it is not moving towards right hand side. So it means this is because of the support. So because of that support, it is not moving anywhere. And this support is not only in one direction, it is in the both component, like in horizontal component and vertical component also. So if you mark the components, for example, if we first remove them, so upthrust is acting in upward direction. Let's mark upthrust over here so it will be not confusing. This is the upthrust, and water tries to push towards right hand side. And definitely the weight of the sphere is in downward direction always. Now, if we talk about this wire or the tension in the wire, so this wire is not at any parallel or perpendicular angle, right? It is at 68-degree angle with respect to the ground. So this wire actually, we need to divide the components, or we need to make the rectangular components of this wire, tension of the wire, right? We are not making component of the weight this time, because weight is acting perfectly in downward direction, and upthrust is like balancing in opposite direction. But this wire helps to uh, make this sphere in equilibrium. So there are two components of the tension in the wire. So one component will be towards left hand side, that actually balances the the force exerted by the water on the sphere, right? And the other component is in downward direction, the vertical component. So this vertical component is T sine 68, and this one is T cos 68-degree. So basically, if you check the values, so the weight is equals to 32 Newton and upthrust is 280. So they are not perfectly balanced. They are like in opposite direction, but by values, they are not equal and opposite. So to make it balance, wire also providing vertical component, and that supports with the weight, and then they are combined together to balance the upthrust of the force of the water. So in this way, we have to combine the weight and the tension, the vertical component of the tension. So both components, both values are now equals to the upward force acting, which is equals to the upthrust of the body, right? So that's why we are adding up these components, right? Any confusion now? Because we have to consider all the possible forces acting on the body, and then with the help of all the possible forces, then we find out the components and relate with the question. Okay, next part. Next part is for the sphere, calculate the volume. So we need to find out the volume of the sphere. So the volume of the sphere is equals to 4 over 3 pi r cube. But right now, radius is not given in the question. So we cannot use that formula 4 over 3 pi r cube. We need to use different formula. So upthrust is given in this question. So we can use upthrust equation to find out the volume. So upthrust is equals to density, gravity, volume. And volume is equals to upthrust divided by density into value of G. So the value of upthrust is equals to 280 divided by density is 1000 given in the question, multiply by 9.81. And after calculation, round off, you will get answer 0.029 or 0.03. So both answers are possible for the volume. Then we need to find out density. The basic formula of density is mass upon volume. Mass is not given, but the value of weight is given. So we can find out mass with the help of the weight. So density is equals to W is equals to mg. So m is equals to W upon g. Volume. So the weight of the object is 32. Volume is 0.029. Because the weight of the sphere is 32 given in the question, so we need to divide by the value of g, and then we can easily relate with the formula of density. And that will be equals to round of 110 kg per meter cube. Okay, the C part of the question is the center of the sphere is initially at a height of 6.2 meter above the horizontal surface. The speed of the water then increases. So now the speed of the water increases, and before that, the center of the sphere is initially at 6.2. So in the previous diagram, the center of the sphere is at 6.2 from the ground. Now the speed of the water increases, causing the sphere to move to a different position. And this movement of the sphere causes its gravitational potential energy decreases by 77 joules, because when depth decreases, gravitational potential energy also decreases. So calculate the final height of the center of the sphere above the horizontal surface. So basically what happens initially, let's suppose if this is the original position of the sphere initially, and now the speed of the water increases, so that will change the height. So now you can see this is the center initially, and this is the center after. So the question is calculate the final height. So we need to find out this height from the ground. Only one reference is given, that gravitational potential energy decreases by 77 joules. So basically we know that the value of gravitational potential energy is equals to 77, which is actually decreased. So the formula of gravitational potential energy is equals to mgh, or W into h, because mg is equals to the weight of the body. So height is equals to gravitational potential energy divided by the weight, 77 divided by 32. 77 divided by 32. 2.4. So basically when this much amount of energy decreases, so this much height also changes. And initially the height is 6.2. So the final height will be equals to 6.2 minus 2.4, because when energy decreases, so definitely from 6.2 we are moving in downward direction. So from 6.2 we need to cover 2.4 meter distance, and after covering up 2.4 meter distance, we observe that the new height from the ground is 3.8 meters, right? Initially, this is the level of the center, which is at 6.2 meters. Then the new center is at 3.8 meter from the ground. These two distances are from the ground. This is from the ground. This is also from the ground. So this is H1 and this is final height. And the difference between them, this difference is equals to 2.4 meters, right? So this is the scenario in this question that we solve. Part D, the extension of the wire increases. So now in one question, we got question from work power energy, we got question from deformation, we got question from forces. So there is like a combined one question. So the extension of the wire increases when the sphere changes position as described in part C, and it obeys Hooke's law also. State a symbol equation that gives the relation between the tension in the wire and its extension. Identify any other symbol that you use. So we need to relate the tension and its extension. And we also need to mention any other symbol if we are using any other symbol in the equation. So normally we know that tension is the value of the force in short, and extension is x. So there is only one equation, F equals to kx, or we can write T is equals to kx. And k is not mentioned in the question, so k is spring constant. And before this sphere changed position, the initial elastic potential energy of the wire was 0.65 joules. The change in position of the sphere causes the extension of the wire double. So extension of the wire is now double. Calculate the final elastic potential energy of the wire after the sphere has changed position. So when sphere change position, so we need to find out the new elastic potential energy. Before that, elastic potential energy is 0.65. So according to the formula of elastic potential energy, it is equals to half Fx, or half kx square. So the value of elastic potential energy is given initial, that is 0.65. So according to this idea, we know that it is equals to 0.625, 65, sorry, is equals to 1 over 2, and the value of the force. So the tension is equals to 270, because they are talking about wire. So we are taking the tension of the wire, which is equals to 270, and extension is x. So in this situation, if we find out the value of extension, so in this situation, extension will be equals to 2 multiplied by 0.65 divided by 270. Extension is 0.004 meters. So this is the extension at this value. And for example, if we use Hooke's law is equals to K is equals to, so the value of K remains constant, 67,500. It means 6.7, 10 to the power 34. So this is the value of K. Two 70 divided by, right. And now we use this same value to find out the final energy. So to find out the final energy, uh, we use the same formula, half Fx. So the final force, the value of K is now given, and the extension is double. So we need to double this extension. So when we double this extension, it becomes, new extension is 2 times x. It means 2 times, it is equals to round of 1.3, 10 to the power 5 meters. Okay, sorry, this is the value of K. Extension is 0.004. So 0.004 multiplied by 2. This is the new value of extension. So now we can use new value of extension and also the value of the force. Basically, when the force doubles, so then extension doubles because it is mentioned in the previous part, it obeys Hooke's law. So according to Hooke's law, force is directly proportional to the extension. So new force will also be double, 2 times 270, 540 Newton. So now we can find out the new elastic potential energy, that is equals to 1 over 2 Fx is equals to 0.5, 540 multiplied by 0.008 extension, 2.16. Right? This is the new value for the elastic potential energy. So there are multiple ways to use the equation, use the formula. It's up to you. Whatever the setup of the equation you feel easy, so you can use that one, right? We can also use the concept of half kx square if you want. Otherwise, you can also compare the initial equation with the final equation also. Otherwise, you can also use this method if you feel this one easy. Okay, this is another question which is related to the turning effect of the forces basically. And this is the same topic we studied in O levels IGCSE. We have a pivot point given, and according to that pivot point, we need to find out the rotation of the body, either it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. So first of all, state what is meant by the center of gravity of an object. So the center of gravity of an object means it is the point where the whole mass of the body concentrates. Okay, B part is a non-uniform rod XY is pivot at point P as shown in figure 2.1. So in this diagram, we have like a seesaw setup given. So this is point P, there is a rod, and on this rod we have some forces given also, and the sphere is connected on right hand side. So all information is given. Rod length is 4 meter, the weight is 44 Newton, center of gravity is at 1.7 meter from the end X of the rod. Point P is this much from the X. The weight of the sphere is 3 Newton, and the weight of the wire is negligible. Force F is applied vertically downwards so that the horizontal rod is in equilibrium. So it is now in equilibrium. So by taking moments about point P, calculate F. So P is our pivot point. So this P is pivot point. This is the fixed point around which this rod can rotate easily. So according to this idea, we know that one force is acting towards left hand side. Let's suppose this is F1 and this is, let's suppose, F2 and this is F3. So if we consider F1 only, so from the pivot point, this force rotates the rod in anti-clockwise direction. And for F2, this is clockwise rotation because pivot is in the center. So to identify the rotation, we need to consider the pivot point, and we can take pencil or pen and we can hold one side, that is the pivot point, and with the help of this pivot point, we can find out the rotation from the other end. In the same way, the weight of the sphere is also acting in downward direction. Yes. So F1 is one side force and F2, F3 are the other side forces. This is also clockwise. So anti-clockwise rotation is equals to clockwise rotation. And since we need to use the moments idea, so clockwise rotation means F2. F2 and the distance of F2 is, this is the distance of F2 called D2. And this is the whole distance of D3. And this is D1. So D1 is simple, that is 1.1. Right. From 1.7, we subtract 1.1, which is equals to 0.6. So F2 is F2 is 44, D2 is 0.6. F2 D2 clockwise, F3 D3 also clockwise. Weight of the sphere is 3 Newton, and the whole distance from the center to the rod end, whole length of the rod is 4, and 4 minus 1.1 equals to 2.9. This is 2.9. F1 is unknown, and the distance of D is 1.1. So after calculation, let's see what is the final answer. 44 into zero point 0.6, 8.7, 31.9, round of 32. So 32 is the final answer. And in the second part, calculate the force exerted on the rod by the pivot. Yes, basically all the forces are acting in downward direction. So pivot X the force in upward direction. So all the downward forces are equals to all the upward forces. So there is only one upward force that is acted by the pivot. So 32, we calculated 44 plus 3. So sum of all downward forces is equals to sum of all upward forces. It means 79 Newton is the final answer. Yes, basically, if there is any upward force is also acting, so we need to take on the opposite direction. So we need to subtract it, right? From these all downward forces. Because downward forces are in the same direction, upward in the opposite. So we need to subtract to find out the resultant force, right? What is the resultant force acted by the pivot on the rod? Because all these forces are downward. So all downward forces are equals to all upward forces basically. So these are all downward forces. Let's suppose if any other upward force is given in the question, so we need to place over here, right? Plus force exerted by pivot in this way. So this upward force shifts on the other side, so it will be subtract on the other way. If there is any upward force acting on the rod in this question, okay? Because we are only calculating the pivot force acting, the force exerted by the pivot on the rod, okay? Not any other force. Part C of the question is the sphere in B part is now immersed in a liquid in a container. As shown in figure, the density of the liquid is 1100 kg per meter cube. The upthrust acting on the sphere due to liquid is 2.5 Newton. The magnitude F is unchanged so that the horizontal rod is not in the equilibrium. So now rod is not in equilibrium. So we use the concept of the upthrust, that is the Archimedes principle also, to determine the radius of the sphere. Because in upthrust formula we use density, gravity, volume. Volume is equals to 4 over 3 pi r cube. So from that r we can find out the radius. So first of all we find out the value of r. We use the same formula, upthrust pi r cube. So we need to find out the value of r. So all quantities needs to be shipped. 3 times F divided by gravity 4 pi equals to r cube. So magnitude of the force is unchanged. So magnitude of the force is 79 we calculated, and this time the sphere due to the liquid upthrust is 2.5. So 2.5 times 3 divided by density is 1100, 9.81, 4 pi. P multiplied by 2.5 is equals to 7.5 divided by 1100 into 9.81 into 4 into the value of pi. Final answer is 55 into 10 to the power minus 6. And then we need to take cube root of it. 3.8, 10 to the power minus 2 meters. So this is the final value of the radius we are getting, 0.038 meters. And in the second part, calculate the magnitude and direction of the resulting. No, basically in our question, either we use a sphere, right? That is the most common shape in our questions, sphere. And other than that, we use triangle, rectangle, square, or a radius or area of the wire. Area of the wire is pi r square, simple. So these are the journal quantities and the journal area quantities we use in our questions, right? Other than that, we have no such specific diagram or area formulas included in our calculation. Because in electricity chapter, you observe that we have the wires given, and for the wires, we need to find out the area with the help of pi r square. And now in this sphere diagrams, we use the concept of the formula of the sphere, right? Okay. The next part is, Calculate the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Sorry, the resultant moment of the forces on the rod about P. So resultant moment of the forces on the rod about P. So in this part, now we have a sphere in the liquid, right? So when a sphere is in the liquid, so with the help of the liquid, it applies upthrust on the sphere. And because of the upthrust, the weight of the sphere slightly feels like it is decreased, it is light because it is in the water surface. So the weight of the object seems like it is now lighter as compared to the original weight of the body, right? So right now, if we want to find out the resultant moment and direction of the resultant moment of the force on the rod about P. So this is the value of the weight of the rod given, that remains same 44. So 44, just like the previous calculation, 44 is at the same distance, 0.6, and it is also giving clockwise rotation. And this one is anti-clockwise. And this force is also at the same distance, just like the previous 1.1. So F multiplied by 1.1 is equals to the weight of the body plus, now this whole distance is equals to 2.9, because this distance is equals to 2.9 from the old diagram. And the value of the force is, so it is mentioned that is upthrust acting on the sphere due to the liquid is 2.5 Newton. So upthrust is 2.5, but we need to mention the downward force. So the value of the force acting over here, the density of the liquid upthrust acting on is 2.5. The magnitude of the F is unchanged. Okay, so the magnitude of the F is unchanged. So what is the value of the F? The value of the F we calculated is equals to 79. Sorry, 32. So 32 is same. So this value of force is unknown. So 32 multiplied by 1.1, 35.2, 44 into zero point 0.6. So 35.2 minus 26.4 is equals to 8.8 is equals to F. So F is 3. So basically, this is the value of the force, 3 newtons we are getting. So from this 3 Newton force, we got this is the downward force. So this is the downward force now acting by the sphere on the water. This is 3 Newton. So basically, the upthrust is 2.5 and the downward force of the sphere is now 3 Newton. So there is only a difference of zero point 0.5, right? So if we consider upthrust only and the total distance, so that will give you the resultant moment only. This calculation is just for your reference that how we observe this idea, that what is the value of the force acting in downward direction. And for the final answer, if we only consider the upthrust, 2.5 multiplied by 2.9, 7.25. So this is the resultant moment acting on the sphere. Because of the water, we have upthrust force acting on the sphere. So this allows the sphere to rotate in this direction because it push sphere in upward direction. And this rotation is anti-clockwise. So final answer is anti-clockwise and 7.25. So this is the final answer of this question, right?